That's how it works. So, well, thank you, Brandon. Well, we finally got to do this. Welcome to Next Generation Entrepreneur, NG All Access. It's crazy, man. I feel like it's been a long journey since we've been together. All the stuff that we've gone through. What was I going to talk about? You were technically the creator of all of this. You came up with the name. You came up with my philosophy, a lot of philosophies that I live by. Tell the listeners, the audience, a little bit who you are, who Brandon Bozarth is, because I've seen you grow as much as you've seen me grow, and I think we should just start there.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's a funny question, like, being asked who is Brandon Bozarth. If I asked you who is Mario Ayer, it's like you can tell me your name. A lot of people would say their job, what they like, I'm Brandon, I play sports, I went to school. It's like none of those things are like who I am, and I don't know, that it's a hard question, but what I can tell you is, NGE, and that whole umbrella concept is really what I feel like is the theme of my life, and it took a lot to figure that out. And one thing that I believe in is everyone has a certain theme that they've chosen at some point to represent, and no one else, simply because no one else is you. Like, if you think about perspective, you have those two eyes, no one else can see through them. There's not one person that can see things how you see them, and that gives you insights and inspiration that no one else can have because of your unique experience. So therefore, no one can do what you do in some specific aspect as good as you, and that's why you're doing this. And NGE, I remember thinking about it, I was like, okay, entrepreneurship is trending because people are realizing that maybe a job can't contain all of these gifts that they want to express without boundaries. So they're saying, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur. And then what I saw too was people that became entrepreneurs viewed non-entrepreneurs as separate, but not only separate, but almost as inferior. And I didn't like that either, because that's almost just going full circle. You're still lowering your vibration, and you're judging, that's what it is. So I remember thinking of NGE as something that, next generation entrepreneurs is just breaking the mold of the typical entrepreneur, someone that knows they can't be contained within conformity in society as, kind of perpetuated. Yeah. And they're just doing their own thing, but in a way that serves humanity, not in a way that judges people that aren't doing that, because that's a part of their process. That's a part of their learning experience. So how can I judge you if you're not as far along as in the process? And if you remember when you weren't far in the process, how much uncomfort you felt, how much dis-ease you felt not doing what you're not doing this right now. Before
it sucked.
It felt like you would have probably felt like you had a longing, and you didn't.
How about this? I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it's not bad to have a job though.
No, that's the thing is, labels in general need to go. You're an entrepreneur, teacher, whatever it is. All that matters is what you're doing, is what you love to do. And it's not this cliche, do what you love thing. It's like, no. That needle of love and excitement and passion is what's going to help you make the biggest impact. And that's what the world needs right now, because you have, in one side of the scope, crazy war, crazy, the trees are being chopped down. And if you really dive into that, you can get depressed pretty easy. The news loves to talk about that, right?
Yeah.
But then you can dive into this other stuff, like these crazy new charities, these people that are donating, these millionaires and billionaires doing these programs. And so you have this crazy contrast and paradox between people having this crazy, negative effect. And then you have over here these crazy loving, empowering people, like the most, teachers and speakers and inspirational educators ever. Is what we're seeing now over here. And you have the most corrupt and the most in scarcity, although they say, we live in less scarcity than we've ever lived in, but the gap is widened.
Yeah.
There's this extreme level of scarcity and then this extreme level of wealth, and abundance, and it's like we're in the middle. So we need people like you, like me. Hope this damn airplane doesn't get in the way.
No, it's fine, man. It's
but we need people like you and me to wake up, which is my book, which you guys need to get. Wake up to not just their gifts, but wake up to the fact that they need to start the process of figuring out what their gifts are. And a lot of people, I feel like, don't try because they're like, wait, I don't even think I have something really special about me, because I was raised in a society where I just have to get a job and work. No one said that I am like incredibly powerful in this one thing. I just need to figure it out.
Definitely. You've obviously, it's crazy just off of what you said right there. You've changed a lot. I think you can agree I've changed a lot as well. When I met you, it was at the seminar, I believe. That's where we first met. Looking back at old Brandon, even though, like you said, take away the labels, take away all the achievements that you had, what are the differences that you see from old Brandon to new Brandon, and how did you get to where you're at now?
Yeah, I mean, I was judgment. Should I wait for this thing?
I don't know. Like, loud. I know. What do you want to do about that? You can just press.
I don't think it's gonna. We should be good.
Is it gonna go away?
Yeah. I mean, it's only just a small little ass airport with tons of traffic.
He's just going in circles. I think that's all he's doing.
He's in the distance.
Right, cool.
Okay. Yeah. So old Brandon was. I mean, it was pretty extreme, dude. When I started entrepreneurship, and I dropped out of school, I broke up with my girlfriend. I mean, you know what I did. You've heard my story.
Yeah, I was saying. Well, let's get into. Let's two questions right there. How did you get into entrepreneurship? Because everyone gets in their own way, and how can you see yourself different from the old brand to new brand?
Right. So it started, and you've heard my story a million times. It started with Andy, the notorious Andy, who I'm just gonna grab lunch with actually, or maybe some dinner with tonight. He called me. He was always a smart kid, kind of socially awkward kid, but incredibly smart. And let's cut the socially awkward part. I don't want him to see that. But he's one of my great friends, and I just trust the guy. And he called me one day, and he's like, "Look, I got a raw number phone call from this kid Ryan. He's hanging out with kids our age, making like 6 figures, working for themselves." And at the time, I had 12 jobs from 16 to 21 that I either quit or got fired. So I could never hold a job, and it was just there was nothing I enjoyed about working for other people. I mean, I was doing personal training at one point, and I loved doing that, but it was just the fact that, hey, I can do it for you or for me. I just choose me, because there's things that I want to do my way versus this way that someone that I didn't even know created that is the right way. So he hit me up, called me. We got into direct selling, network marketing. That's where it took off. Lowest point of entry, right? I had no money at the time. I actually borrowed $500 to get started. I think I had like $100 myself that I put in. And I was like, okay, it's a $500 startup. Andy, if you put this in, I promise you I'll get it right back in a week. And that next week, I tripled that, I guess. I made like $1,500. And that was it. I didn't really look back. I dropped everything that I was doing, and it was just like tunnel vision. But a symptom of that also was neglecting and judging everything else that wasn't in that spectrum and in that view. So it was like, this is what I'm doing, and if you're not doing this, you're not smart, you're wrong. Yeah. And that was the thing, me thinking that there is only one way, by assumption, by law, would mean there's only one person in all of existence. Because every person is their own way.
Yeah.
Like, you can figure out a completely different way that works for you and for you and for you. So me saying that your way is the wrong way means that I'm on a path that is probably not good for me.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at the time. I thought that was good. Like, tunnel vision.
A good buddy of mine taught me that there's no right or wrong.
Right.
Like, it's just the way you
exactly
do.
Yeah, there's a chapter in my book, it's called All Truths Are True, and it's just a change in perspective, but it takes it down. Like, your buddy said that, and I don't know to what degree he understands that concept, but all truths are true literally means if you believe something to true, you'll actually have a physical experience of that thing, even if it's completely the opposite of what I believe to be true, and I'll actually have a physical experience of that thing. So it's like, if you thought like this, for some reason your belief system was so ingrained in a green marker was actually the color blue, you would actually see it.
It's your truth.
Yeah, it has to be, because it all starts, it's belief literally will I've been studying a lot of what's called neuroplasticity, which is how the neural pathways in your brain are changing, and how you can influence change, and in turn you can actually activate genes, epigenetics. This guy Bruce Lipton has a book called The Biology of Belief, and you've probably heard his podcast and whatnot. So literally, like, your physical experience will be different. So you neglecting what someone else believes to be true is no farther from the truth. It's a fallacy. because this person literally it's like the O.J. Simpson case. There's some people in that case that might have been like, yo, he's 100% innocent, and I have physical proof, and I'm sold. And in their reality, he literally was innocent, literally. And for other people that saw this evidence, thought he was, and that changed how they interact with everything, you know. But I mean, we're off topic.
Dude, don't worry. It's crazy. Let's touch on network marketing.
Right.
It has its pros and cons. It has its negatives and positive, looks on life. Do you recommend people getting into network marketing if they want to experience entrepreneurship, or what would you take? What's advice for people who are network marketing at the moment and want to get in it, want to become better at it? What's your take?
Right. So I think and this is just a universal principle, but if it excites you, you have to do it. You have to take it as far as you can to the best of your ability with no expectation of what's going to come. Hey, this network marketing thing seems cool. I'm either going to do it or not do it. If I'm not doing it, it's for two reasons. One reason is not a good reason, which is because of fear. The other reason is it just doesn't resonate, meaning it doesn't excite you. It's pretty black and white. Yeah. There's a teacher of mine, calls it the science of the obvious. Should I do this thing? Yeah, I'm excited about it. Okay, I'm going to do it. There's no other thinking. Should I do this thing? Yeah, I'm excited about it, but I'm kind of scared. So should I do it? Yes. Just figure out why you're scared instead of not doing the thing that excites you. So yeah, if it's exciting, and that's why it's so appealing, is you can with a low entry point, you can start a business, have tax write-offs, build a residual income, and be part of a tribe of people that want to help you. And I found, you think about my sphere of influence and my tribe now. We have Andrew Yeager and Tyler, right? They're killing it in real estate. We have Ryan Darrell, who just started his own wine label. There's people like Sean Cooey, graphic designer, just incredible at what he does. Jeremy Bishop. JB Mindset, entrepreneurship, mindset development. I've met such great people that have now become the foundation of Wake Up in my book and that movement, and that never would have happened. And plus the experience is amazing. And I'd say if you're in network marketing, you have to get around the people that are making it happen.
We were talking about network marketing. I have a love and hate relationship with network marketing. I feel, this is my opinion now, if you don't love the product, if you don't genuinely like the company, you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, 100%.
I know you had something you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so when it comes to, I feel like anything, not specifically just network marketing, but anything, and this is a chapter that I put in my book because I found this to be true in everything that you do, at least for me, from my experience, is there's 4 things that you need to kind of as a marker for yourself to say, okay, if I'm going to do this and I do these 4 things and they all check out for me personally, I know I could win at this and it can fill me up. It'll be fulfilling for me. And I call it the 4 Ps. So it's passion, project, preparation, and people. So all those things you need in one thing. So what I was going to say to people in network marketing, if you want to do good, first of all, you have to have a passion for it, right? Second, you need to understand what preparation you need. This is the skill side, right? And a lot of these concepts are really broad because when you think about preparation, that could be prepping your mind, prepping your emotional intelligence, how you can control your emotions, how to understand other people, preparation on sales training, preparation, educating yourself on the product. That in itself can be years, you know what I mean? For doctors, preparation is school. You can't just go be a doctor. What do I need to be a doctor? Well, right now, how can I prepare myself in the best way? It starts with reading this textbook.
Yeah.
Preparation, people, getting around the people that are making it happen. That's, I would say, the most important part because that's going to prepare you the most, right? So be around the people. And then lastly, the project. The project is just the vehicle. So you need a vehicle. The vehicle is network marketing. But for people that don't have a vehicle, if they have passion, then they need to figure out, okay, what project, and a project can be a business, it can be a brand, it can be a job, it can be anything. That's why it's called a project. It doesn't have to be labeled one thing. So if you have a passion, you figure out, hey, what project is best representative of this passion? Now, how can I prep myself to be good at it? Best way to do that is find the people that are already doing it right. And that's it. You know what I mean? So if you want to do good network marketing, if you're passionate about it, get those other 3 Ps. And that's what I usually find people will take off. And that's in anything. That's just universal.
It is. And it's something I talk it's why I started this. I wanted to show people that success is in every industry. It exists in every industry. A lot of people are afraid to take off in a separate side project, and it all stems from fear. It's something that I used to go to you literally all the time, almost every day.
Yeah, I'd get pissed off.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would literally...
Like, what the hell are you afraid of, Mario?
Yeah, and it's just like, now I look back and I don't know if I'm not afraid anymore, or if it's just I want it more than the fear. Like, I personally don't even know anymore, because I just don't... The fear doesn't... It's not there. I don't know how to explain it. Can you help the listeners? How did you get over your own fears, and how should people get over fears?
Right. Well, I put out a video in this Facebook group recently. I think this is pretty relevant. It's not my entire A through Z process of getting rid of fear, because it's something that's natural. And I think one thing that keeps people from getting rid of their fear is they're not okay feeling fear. And it's like every time I went to public speak or do a sales call or do anything like that, pitch an idea to someone, there was always fear, and it's natural. It's always not, and what a lot of people do is they're taught that fear is bad. So that's where we need to start, is redefine fear as something good. Why? Because it makes you uncomfortable. That feeling of fear is an emotion. What do emotions do? They guide you to a belief that you're holding on to, because you cannot feel something. You can't have an emotion if you didn't have some sort of definition or belief about the topic that evoked the emotion. So if I said something to you in French, you wouldn't feel anything. You wouldn't feel like a crazy passion, or you wouldn't feel a fear or anything in between, because you don't know what it was. You have no definitions in place. So feeling fear is good, because you get uncomfortable and you're forced to grow and say, hey, what about this thing is making me scared or make me feel this way? And that's when you can go introspectively and explore these ideas that aren't a part of you. And it's pretty easy to drop them. There's basically 3 steps. And one, you become aware of it. So if I was afraid of something, step 1, I need to know what I'm afraid of. What is the thing? If I'm just feeling fear and I can't define it, you can't solve the problem. I'm afraid of this, right? And you want to boil that down. So I don't want to do network marketing, or I don't want to do sales, or I don't want to go talk to a girl. I'm feeling fear about that. Why am I feeling? What about this situation is making me feel afraid? Well, I think I might get rejected. What belief am I holding on to? This is step 2, identifying what you believe. What about this situation makes me believe that getting rejected is bad? Right? So you're aware of it, and now you're like, what must I believe about this thing in order to feel this way about possibly being rejected? Well, I think, and then that's when you go inside and, hey, maybe I feel like if I get rejected from her, I'm not good enough. 9 times out of 10, that's what it is. I'm not good enough. I'm going to fail, whatever. So then when you find that conclusion, I believe this, and that, I believe I'm not going to be good enough. If I get rejected, I'm never going to find a girlfriend. So why try? It's never going to make logical sense. And this is the beauty about it. Our minds are logical. Our higher mind is creative. That's where inspiration and new ideas come from. Our brain can't create a new idea. And it's a really crazy concept. But if you think about it, your brain is meant to keep you alive, right? It analyzes patterns from the past and can only use those patterns, the known, as Deepak Chopra would say. It could only refer to the known and project that forward. And if everyone did that, repeated what they already know, nothing new would start. So literally, when you sit there and you try to think, why this fear is happening, what may happen in the future, that's what's going to create the fear. And to use that to your advantage, you use your logical mind to break a belief. Because if you make something illogical, all of a sudden your physical mind is going to say, well, why do I believe that? And it's like believing the sky's made out of cotton candy. You know what I mean?
It goes back to the truths or the truths, right? Like, you create your own truth.
Yeah.
I know a lot of times I'll be sitting down, I'll be like, who's going to watch my videos? What's the point of making these? No one's going to care.
Yep. And the fact is this, if it's your highest form of excitement, there will always be one person. Crazy. There will always be one, because you're meant to do this on some level. If this is the final product or the process of the product, if it's part of that excitement, it will resonate with people.
Yeah.
Has to.
Alan Watts, which I got mad at you about because you never introduced me to him, he states, there's bound to be someone else who likes what you like just as much as you like it.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Thank you.
But real quick, I want to finish this
Go
just
ahead.
so it's really clear for them. So you become aware, right, of something. Really, the process, I say it's 3 steps to make it simple and to spread it out, because one thing I think is a problem with personal development and this whole growth industry is you have this abundance of information that lacks practicality and simplicity because they want to be different. When in reality, we're all saying the same thing from a different perspective, but to make it effective in today's day and age, I believe it needs to be practical and applicable, and it needs to fix someone's right now. And it can't be left out as just an esoteric concept that you're trying to wrap your mind around, like some sort of ancient philosophy, right? It's like, hey, do this, you get this, because we're logical beings, right? So when you're feeling fear, first of all, how I define fear. Fear is the illusion or projection of hypothetical events that do not exist. So first of all, you're scared of something that's not even real.
Mm-hmm.
It's created by your mind, so you can destroy it by your mind. And how you destroy it is by making it illogical. And how you do that is you figure out in a situation, and you do this always. This is crazy. Once you figure this out, you're always calibrating. Your emotions will stop going like this, and they'll start going like this. They're always going to go up and down. We're born in this environment of contrast purposely. So, but we don't have to do this. We can learn, and we're going to experience some contrast, and we have the ability to calibrate it and go back up and raise our vibration and feel good and feel better. And how we do that is when we feel bad. And this is why it's so important to care about how you feel, because it's how you're going to discover and break through fear. So I feel fear about something. I say, what do I believe about this situation to make me feel this way? I believe I'm not going to be good enough. What irrefutable evidence, or why am I choosing to believe that? What reason is that valid?
Yeah.
And when you ask yourself that and just sit in that question and listen to it, you're not going to come up with an answer. And if you do, it's not going to make any sense at all. Because why is me getting rejected from some girl at a bar a reflection on what I'm worth as a human? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What if that girl an hour ago broke up with her ex-boyfriend and had this obscure opinion of all guys and was on the verge of being a lesbian? You know what I mean? Like, I'm done with guys. I'm gonna try girls. You don't know. It could literally be that extreme. And you're gonna approach them, and maybe you get rejected, right? Or you do a sale and you get rejected. Little do you know, maybe that person just was bankrupt and didn't want to admit it, but they're taking it out on you. You never know. And most people will take that situation and it will become their self-image, and it'll become a limiting belief. That one person rejected me, I'm not good with girls. That one sales guy rejected me, I'm not good at sales. What? And then you feel the emotion. Wait, why am I feeling this? What must I believe? Well, I believe that because they rejected me, I'm not good with any girl. Now, does that make sense? And when you ask that question, nothing negative can survive the light of logical consciousness. Nothing. Because if it doesn't feel good, it's not a part of you. Because we're meant to feel good all the time. We're meant to be in a state of well-being and thriving. And if you're not doing that, it's not you. And anything that's not you won't make sense to you. So that's the whole goal, is to feel good, because when you feel good, you attract good. But you're always going to be, and that's why you can't fight this unwanted stuff. Like this freaking camera that broke down. We can't fight that. That happens, we go, yes, cool, it happened. Now let me calibrate and get excited about fixing it and learning from it.
Yeah.
You know, and you're even going to fall out of that state sometimes. Sometimes someone will cut you off and you're just going to be like,
yeah.
And you just can't control it. Fuck off. And then you're going to be like, oh, wait, I should calibrate. I'm spiritual. It's
Health
like
and
we're
wealth.
humans.
Health and
all
wealth.
okay. Health and wealth.
Health and wealth.
You know mine, health. This is a funny. I want to tell you honest about that. I when I was building really heavily network marketing, I would tell people, look, you can tell someone's leadership ability by the way that they control their emotions. They handle certain situations. Yeah. The level of their problems equals the level of their character. So you're driving down the street and someone cuts you off. Which is out of your control, which is like a cloud passing by. Do you flip them off? Fuck you. Probably can't say that on here, but screw you.
Dude, it's all right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So cool. So fuck you. And do you do that, or do you realize, hey, it's out of your control, I'm okay, and make something funny out of it, or just not acknowledge it at all? What I used to do is I just used to yell health and wealth at them and basically like bless them, you know. And I don't know why this became the
thing. I can't do it either. So
no, some people, I think like 5% of the population can't do it. Yeah, there you go. So someone would cut me off, and I'd be like, at first I'd get kind of, my initial like instinctual reaction would be, and then I'd be like, health and wealth, and then I would just laugh at myself. Yeah. So I instantly gained control of the conversation because of that conscious response. Yeah.
So someone listening, Brandon, they're probably like, where can I find my Brandon? Where can I find my mentor? I never asked you to be my mentor. It kind of just happened in the same way that people that look up to me, they never said, hey, can you mentor me? It was kind of just a give and take. What's your advice on anyone who's looking for a mentor? How do they approach these people, or is there a process?
It's just following your excitement. That's it. It's the science of the obvious again. It's when you are doing something you're passionate about, and you're all in, and you're willing to break down fear, you're willing to change your beliefs, work on yourself. When you're willing to do that and you're passionately pursuing goals, when you talk to someone that's already in that space, trust me, that's why we clicked, because you were passionate and you were very open to being vulnerable. Like, hey, I might have things to learn, and you are willing to grow and learn. You had a high teachability index, as Kevin Trudeau says. And so that was easy for me, because every person in a position of authority, most of them at least, from my experience, all want to help someone else. Because it's been proven by science now that gratitude is the easiest way to create happiness. They've actually proven that by measuring chemical levels of the brain and putting people through gratitude exercises. So we know that makes people feel good. So if you're passionately pursuing your goals and you're following the 4 Ps and you read my book,
we'll get into that. Don't worry.
Then you will attract that person 100%. You won't attract them if you're doing something that's not who you are, trying to be someone you're not, living in fear, and then you go approach somebody who is passionate about the same thing you're pursuing, because it'd be like talking to an opposite. They would recognize it from a mile away, just from the energy of the conversation.
And I think my 2 cents, it's be genuine, be vulnerable. I know I had a moment out in Utah. It was me, Sweeney, Yeager. I think Smalls was there too. And then Sweeney just stopped me and he was like, stop trying to impress us and just be you. And that really changed everything, because when I just started being me, it seemed like the guys that I looked up to actually accepted me more than me trying to act smart in front of them.
Craziest paradox of all of society. Everyone wants you to fit in, but they only admire the ones that stand out.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's crazy, right?
Well, this is another funny story, guys. It's funny because I said Sweeney, Yeager, and Smalls. People are going to have no idea what that is. Why do you introduce everyone to me in their last name? It's Ryan Darrell, Jeremy Bishop. You call him Bishop. Smalls, Tyler Smalls. Yeager, Andrew Yeager. And then Sweeney. I literally thought Sweeney's name was his first name.
He
for
just
the
had
longest
one name.
time. Yeah. I didn't know it was Sean Sweeney.
It was. It's just because of football, I think. I'm just conditioned. I played football from like 3rd grade through high school. And it's just everyone calls. I mean, your last name's on the back of the jersey, so everyone just calls each other by their last name. Everyone called me Bozarth. In high school, except I mean, I don't like when girls call me Bozarth for some reason. It's because it brings me back to football. Football I associate with masculinity, so it's just like. Anyway, I think it's just a football thing.
All right. So let's get into your book, man. You didn't tell me about it. You posted it on Facebook. We kind of lost connection for a while. You started doing your own thing. We'll get that into a bit too. Let's talk about this book. I feel like, and no offense, I feel like everyone's writing a book now, dude.
Yeah.
Like everyone, literally. I go on my Facebook and I want to write a book today, and everyone wants to be an author now because they see all these other guys doing books. What's gonna make you any different than them? And why should we read your book? Who are you, Brandon, to write this book?
Right. Those are good questions. So first of all, I think everyone should write a book if their intention is there. If they are doing something they're passionate about and they want to share something from experience, because everyone's experience is infinitely valuable, and that's something that you can't take away from someone. I had this experience and this is what I've learned from it. No matter what will impact someone in some way. And if a book impacts one person, it's no different than putting a video up or any other type of information sharing modality. But books, why books are so great is because they'll establish your credibility.
Yeah.
You know, and it'll be something, it's an asset. A book is an asset because you put it out and it can sell your entire life. And for me, I never started writing the book with, actually, I didn't even know I was writing a book as I was writing it. I just started writing. It was kind of weird. So ever since I heard this quote, it said, how to find what you're passionate about. Start when you were a kid. Think about things you love doing just because you loved them. And I thought I loved writing when I was really young. And I'm like, you know what? I've always been good at writing. I had a 1.8 in college, but my 2 A's were in English and psychology. So I loved writing. So I just started writing. I started from the seminars that I went to, from my experience, from the books that I was reading and the audios. I would implement those things. And I'm a very logical thinker, so I need to be able to understand and wrap my mind around a very deep, esoteric concept, and then bring it down to 2 sentences that anyone can understand, for me to understand it. And then I need to apply it, and that's the thing. You can understand something intellectually by reading it, but you can only understand it spiritually as it becomes you by doing it.
Yeah.
So I would learn a concept, and I put it into practice, and I'd be so amazed that it would actually do what the book or the audio said it was going to do, and sometimes it didn't. And then I'd write about it, and I'd say, hey, I started in my personal development, personal growth journey, and I couldn't understand some of these big books or some of these audios or some of these teachers. It was like, and I say this in my book, it was like I was blind and trying to read and deaf and trying to hear these audios. And it just I couldn't absorb it because I wasn't resonating at that level. So I needed a steady ladder climb to get up to a level where I can understand a broader spectrum of how the world works. So I started with people like Gary Vaynerchuk, people like Grant Cardone, where it was very straightforward, in your face, this is what you do, you're going to get a result. Led me kind of like to Deepak Chopra. I read the 7 spiritual laws. 7 laws, read that 7 times. Kind of funny, 7, but yeah, I read that 7 times. And I wasn't a reader, dude. Like, I never read in high school. I just spark notes to everything. But there was something about this book. I read it, and literally the feeling that I would get from it was so much power. Like, I had so much personal power. I was valuable. I was strong, and I just felt so great from it. I couldn't put it down. And it really opened my mind up to a bigger world of kind of like success through spirituality by making these new age philosophies more practical, because that's what he did in his book. Every chapter ended with this takeaway and this action step. So it wasn't like I was reading this story of cool concepts and whatnot, and that was it. That was there, and then there was the hard information, the gold nugget, that really every book has 1 or 2. Every book can be condensed down to a couple pages if you take out the fluff. So this book had a big impact on me. From there, I got into some very, very, most people call it out there or esoteric teachers, Abraham Hicks,
Yeah.
very, very deep, and did the same thing I was just been doing. I just would take a principle, would try to understand it as best I can, put it into experience, and then write about it. And this was about a 9-month process. It's been so far. So I guess what makes it different is my whole goal, and I think this is what's missing in the personal development space, but in the small sector of where spirituality and personal growth and practicality all meet.
Yeah.
Right? So I want to find these philosophies that highly successful. When I say successful, I mean you could talk about the Dalai Lama, Gandhi, Steve Jobs, all in one category. Right? People that are doing exactly what they want to do and are making an impact and are just doing what they're here for. These people, and taking what I've learned from them collectively and then teaching from my experience in a very practical way, to where each chapter is 2 or 3 pages, but the content is so deep and so clear that every chapter you're going to walk away with an assignment and a takeaway. So it's almost like a workbook.
Yeah.
You're not going to, it's going to make you uncomfortable. It's going to ask you some questions where you're going to have to sit there and be like, wow. Do I hate myself? Do I live in my ego? Do I know who I am? Am I destroying my relationships because of my own insecurities? Am I engaging in some sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Like dodgy behavior to distract myself from my truth. So it's all very practical, very straightforward. This is what you need to become aware of, and here's the question you need to ask yourself to grow. And that's it. It'll be maybe an 80-page book, 100-page book. But what it is, it's basically kind of three, I'd say maybe 4 quadrants. It's awareness, and this is going to make you aware of just laws that govern the universe, stuff that you've heard before. Actually, all truths are true, that's in there. What you put out is what you get back, law of attraction, i.e. in a very simplified form.
Yeah.
Things like the all is one, the one is all, how there's literally only one particle in all of existence, which blew my mind. Like this, and this is proven now in string theory, that this particle over here is the same particle as this one over here, and this one's only over here because there's an observer to observe it. It's like string theory.
I think it's the concept of multiple dimensions.
Right.
There's like a fourth
Similar.
dimension,
Yep.
and it's just we can't see it because it's in somewhere else, but
Mhm.
they can see it, whoever they are.
Right, exactly.
And a lot of people might call this crazy. Being on the spiritual way. I want to talk about this, and we'll get back to the book. It's you have the guys that are, it's like the Grant Cardones, the Gary Vaynerchuks, where it's like work your ass off, work your ass off, work your ass off, and then you have Deepak Chopra, and I'll even throw Kyle Cease in there, where it's like meditate, believe, and it'll happen. Are you trying to combine that? Is that what the goal of this book is? And which one is right? Is it right or wrong?
Right. Well, back to the concept, all truths are true, and how you determine that is which one I am most excited about, which one do I resonate with the most, is going to allow me to give myself permission to make shit happen. So if I think working hard and being a badass entrepreneur that puts out a bunch of content and does this X, Y, and Z is going to work for me, and I truly buy into that, it's going to work for me. Whereas if I'm this very spiritual, you just need to allow, if you're these new age teachers, allow, work less, focus on feeling good, and watch the law of attraction and these invisible forces create things for you along the path of least resistance. They all work, but fundamentally, you're doing the same thing across the board. If you're here with Gary Vaynerchuk, or if you're here with someone like Abraham Hicks, you're resonating with them because they're like you, they're most like you, they make you passionate, and that vibration is going to attract more things to be passionate about.
Yeah.
That's just how it works. So if you're here and you're passionate about real estate, making money, even if it's a superficial thing, if in that moment that is pulling you and you're in this good vibration because of how you're defining that goal, you'll attract it, right? Same thing over here. So they're all different modalities and different ways and strategies, but fundamentally there's laws of the universe that govern everyone the same. And if you're succeeding in any area, whether you're conscious of it or not, it's those laws that you're in harmony with that are causing the results. Right.
I understand that. Yeah,
So that's all with I wouldn't say it's combining the two. I mean, I guess maybe on accident it kind of is.
Yeah.
Because I if you're on your path, you're going to work hard because you want to.
Yeah.
And if you're a marketer or if you're in sales, you're going to do the processes to become successful are going to be very, very close.
Right.
You're going to prepare for it. You're going to find the people. You're going to work very hard. All those things are going to be the same. So what is the difference? There really is no difference.
That's what I've been seeing. Like I told you, I'm kind of stuck between the two, and I used both of them. And now that I think about it, I stuck with those two, Kyle Cease and Gary Vaynerchuk, because that's what felt right to me.
Right.
I think I texted you. I'm like, look at all the books I bought. I haven't really read any of them because I just don't feel resonated to them yet. I don't need them yet. But back to your book. Is it done? Is it completely done?
I have a couple chapters that I didn't anticipate would take so long. So the last section, there's basically, like I said, I think 3 or 4 sections. It's awareness, where we just talk about fundamental assumptions about the laws that govern everything. And once you understand that, the way you see everything will change instantly. From there, it's getting on your path. This is helping you find and start and actually taking action steps to start following what you would love to do, even if you have no idea where to start. Next is staying on the path. And that's where when your ego comes in, fear comes in, people come in and attempt to kind of push you off the path, which is necessary and which happens. How to break through that, get past that and stay on your track. And then last is health. 7 I guess, aspects of good health. So you have water, oxygen, sun, food, movement, reduction of stress.
Interesting.
Right? So you got, I think I might have said movement and exercise at the same time. So instead of movement is exercise, the seventh one would be removal of toxins in the system.
Yeah.
So, I was a personal trainer for 3 years and got deep into nutrition and whatnot. And just through the content and my own experience, there's basically like 7, I'd say, aspects to creating good health.
Do you know when you're going to release it? Is it going to be in book
Mm-hmm.
form? I know you said at first originally it was going to be in only ebook.
Right.
Is it going to stay as an ebook, or are you
No,
going to
it's going to be a physical
paperback?
Yeah, there'll be both. There'll be, the what are they called? There'll be an ebook, and then there'll be the one you download on the tablet type of thing.
Yeah, ebook. Yeah.
Yep, and then there'll be a physical copy. So hopefully next month, middle of next month, it should be out.
Really?
Yeah. So I actually teamed up with a guy, like we were talking earlier, Lane
Yeah.
Etheridge. So Lane actually just teamed up with, now I'm going to forget his name.
Yeah, we were just talking about
The
it too.
billionaire.
Infomercials.
Kevin Harrington.
Kevin Harrington, yeah.
So he teamed up with Kevin Harrington. Kevin Harrington is basically a branding marketing powerhouse. He started the infomercial. He's done $4 billion in sales from his own, anything he's been affiliated with, whether he's helped launch brands or his own brand or his own products. Total stud. He was on Addicted to Success with Joel Brown. So
Yeah.
they combine forces, and basically what Lane does is he co-authors. He'll put you in a book for 10 grand with a bunch of badass authors and get your name out there, establish your credibility, or publish, edit, launch, market your book. So I teamed up with Lane and spent a good amount of change saying, hey, I want this to be a bestseller. Let's get this thing out there. And that's not my job. And like, I'm the type that says, you're better than me at a lot of things. So are you, so are you, so are you. So rather than me doing a half-assed job on these things, you express something that you're passionate about, therefore by default makes you better at it than I do. And I'll pay anyone any price for that, because if I find someone where I feel that, and you could tell when you talk to someone if they're passionate about it, and if it's their world, and if they have good intention, and that's where becoming in tune with your intuition is important, and your heart. And so I knew that from our first 1 hour conversation. This guy is it. This is the one. And the way it happened too was a synchronicity. It was Tyler, my roommate, being in the same room as his kid Luke, overhearing a conversation, then giving me a referral the next day. So that was, as the alchemist would say, an omen to where I recognized it and said, hey, that probably happened for a reason. I should check on that. So I'm teaming up with him. He's going to edit, publish, market, launch. That's about a 1.5 week process. Very quick. Get my cover done. But it should be done, I'd say, in like no more than 3 weeks.
We'll probably have to do another interview when the book actually comes out,
Yeah.
and when I read it and
As
stuff.
many as you want.
I was telling you, I was talking to Jeremy Bishop and trying to figure out when I could fly out to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And let's talk about that now. You moved, dude. We're right now. We're in Half Moon Bay, here in your backyard. But you moved out to Philadelphia. Why?
Right. So
why? Not only that, you freaking drove your car with Jaeger and I don't know who else.
cross country.
Cross country. Why such a change? Why such a drastic change?
Right. So me and Jaeger went to the seminar in Thailand, marketing seminar, 3 days. I mean, we were with a guy who was making $900,000 a month in online marketing. So some of the best marketers in the world. And we're just learning marketing 101, sales funnels, how to write ad copy, that sort of thing. The most value we got from the trip were the mentors that we attracted and we started building relationships with. One of them, my buddy Steven, 21-year-old kid, I think last month did like 46 grand online. Loves what he's doing. He's traveling the world. He's just on purpose. He is doing what he loves. So I resonated with him, so did Andrew, and he basically was one of our P's, and we dove in, and we started our own marketing brand, Evolve Marketing. So and what's funny is me and Andrew didn't get close until about maybe 2 months before that trip. So me and Andrew meet. Andrew has a history of being very successful. He's made hundreds of thousands of dollars before he's 21. We travel to Thailand. We come back, and about our 2-month relationship, I'm like, dude, we kind of just looked at each other and we're like, we need to pursue this and we need to live together. Like, we're just on the same vibe, finishing each other's sentences. We have a huge vision for our ultimate goal, which that's a separate interview. That's really deep, and that's like the ultimate goal, and everything we're doing is the foundation right now. But so we came up with this vision together, this collective vision that we both had, and we got so passionate about it that I was like, no, you know what, I'm moving out. And about 2 weeks later, I just moved.
Yeah.
There's no real thinking about it, and that's the thing is I was so excited.
Weren't you afraid? You left your parents, you left everything. For someone who's going to make such a drastic choice in their life, for me, it was buying the $500 camera. I was like, oh my God, this is a lot of money. You're moving halfway across the country. Was fear in there, like, or for those people that want to make that extra change? How did you do it?
Right. So there really wasn't, to be honest, dude. It was the excitement was my reassurance, because there was nothing more I wanted to go out, be around these people, which is one of the P's, that were at a higher level than me. I was like, these guys are at a higher level than me. It's going to get me out of my comfort zone. I'm going to learn. I'm going to grow. We're building something from the ground up. And that's the thing, is I just focused only on that. I could have focused on all the things that I could have done wrong or went wrong. But if I did that, it wouldn't make me feel good. And my intention is I need to feel good. So I'm thinking, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is what I'm excited about. And because I was so energized from the vision, I basically convinced myself that this move was going to be the thing that was going to catapult me.
Which it did.
Yeah, it did. Really, you can do that with anything you do. Dude, I buy this one camera, this could go wrong, but hey, it could launch me into the stratosphere and I could blow everything out of the water.
Yeah, it's crazy because I was afraid of money. That money was the biggest issue for me. And as soon as I got my camera, I started getting like all these offers from people like, hey, like, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? And it's like, and they were paying me.
Do you have Thumbtack?
Thumbtack? What's that?
It's an app where you can, for professionals and for customers, put a profile up as you're a photographer, you do freelance film work, and you'll get probably 3 or 4 people a day asking you for leads.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
No, I didn't know about that. I guess I'll have to check
really
it out. They'll probably have to check it out too.
Thumbtack.
Yeah.
Pay me.
Man, no, that's nuts, dude. I'll definitely have to go out to Philly.
Yeah.
It's getting closer to the end of the interview. Planes are still flying by. Everything's still going crazy.
Unreal.
It's fine, man. It's.
I'm just kidding.
I think the viewers are gonna appreciate the raw.
Yeah.
It's something that me and you talk about. There's so much fake stuff going on in the world that people are tired of the BS. People are tired of this. They'll like the raw stuff. There's always like these 3 questions I ask at the end of every interview now. Is there a philosophy or moral that Brandon Bozarth lives by? Like what philosophy or moral do you live by?
I would say that me personally, I'm dedicated to being myself, my full, complete self at all times, because that's my place of power. And not only by me doing that am I going to feel the most fulfilled, but I'm going to be a steady reminder to other people that they can do that too. And all being your true self really is living in love 100%, following your passion, because what you love is you. Like how C says, you are what you love, not what loves you. It is you. You expressing your gifts is who you are. So by you doing that, you're serving yourself and the world. So that's what I believe in. I will never do something ever if it doesn't resonate with me. I'll never do a job. I'll never do a service. I'll never do a task that I don't love to do. I mean, there's little things. Let's be realistic. I hate the word, but let's be realistic. There's laundry. There's this and that. But the things that I don't enjoy doing like that, you just need to make them enjoyable to the best of your ability. And you're always going to, you're never going to have, you can. And I don't want people to create this limiting belief that everything they do throughout the day can't be exactly what they want to do, because there are people doing that. And that's the ultimate goal for everyone, I feel like. But for where to start, like for the viewers now listening, write a list of things you love to do and start there. Write a list of 15 things. Say, I'm going to do at least one of these a day. And now let me look at the things I don't like. How can I transform that and relieve the stressfulness of that? Hey, I'm sitting in traffic. I can listen to this audio that I really love. Hey, I'm doing this laundry. I can listen to this music that makes me dance. Hey, I'm doing this homework. Hey, I have to study. Hey, every 10 minutes I'm going to watch a funny YouTube video and then refocus fast. And
does it go back to perspective, how you look at things?
Yeah, I guess so. you know. But I mean, if I had to boil it down, as I could ramble, it's I will always, to the best of my ability, and sometimes I get knocked off, and that's all right. But I will always stay on my path and do exactly what I'm here for.
Yeah.
And I know when I'm doing that, when I feel good, when I'm passionate, and when things work out easily.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. So the second question, this I always ask, it's here, Next Generation Entrepreneur. I started, like I said, because I used to think that an entrepreneur was a guy wearing a suit, going to an office, you know, being this boss CEO, and I realized that entrepreneurship is way more than that. What does an entrepreneur mean to you?
I think it's really cool. I think an entrepreneur is someone who's waking up to the fact that they can't be contained inside of a label or a job description. It's someone that says, I'm bigger than this, or I don't prefer this, and I'm not going to live in fear, and I'm actually going to do something about it. I'm not going to just conform because I'm scared. That's what it is. It's people that, and what I love about entrepreneurs is they make it possible for other people by setting the example. And that's the best way, right? Communication, teaching, all these things are great, but to convince someone that they can do something, you don't use your words, you just do it. And because belief is synonymous with action. So if I'm sitting here telling you what I believe, because I want you to believe it, the only way you're going to embody it and believe it too is when you see me walking the path, right?
Oh god, this is gonna be fun editing. Oh my god.
20 days, dude, are rough. Airplanes and...
I'm gonna have to research how to get rid of background noise. It shouldn't be too hard. Now the dogs are barking. Yeah, let's make it easy for us. All right, last question. What's success mean to you, man? Success, what I've seen is just there's so many definitions. It goes back to the truths. Truths?
All truths are
All
true.
truths are truths. What is your truth on success?
It's staying true to yourself. You know, there's no, you know, monetary staple. There's no anything outside, any symbol, house, cars, money, anything like that. There's no measure of it. The only measure of it is how you feel. And that's why I can't tell you how to be successful. That's why our parents' generation can't say, hey, you should be a doctor, lawyer, or this, and hold you to it. Because they don't know, and they're incapable of knowing how you feel 100%, at least in our current state of awareness. So how can I tell you what's successful if I don't know what feels good to you? Because that's the ultimate goal of everyone. Because when someone is successful in society's eyes, they have the car, they have the things. If they don't feel good, what's the point? Ask yourself that. What's the point? I don't feel good, but I have this car. So what? So everyone has the same goal. Everyone has the same purpose, which is to feel good. And how do you feel good? You be yourself. And what is being yourself? Expressing your gifts and staying on the path. That's it.
Definitely, man. Thank you. Well, I've been doing this religiously, and I think the viewers are going to catch on after a while, but I give a gift to every person.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And let's see what the backpack holds.
Your magic hat.
My magic hat. Well, first of all,
Is it a cat?
this is actually yours. I'm returning it.
So you're just re-gifting.
No. Well, guys, read this book if you guys can see it. I think you should hold it.
Yeah.
It's a very good
My
book.
bad.
It's taught me a lot. I read a lot. I actually listened to the audiobook of that version as well. I just want to return it back. But the one, I know it's not on your list that you texted me, but it's my favorite.
Oh, shoot. You just texted me about
It's
that.
my favorite book. You told me it's your mentor's favorite book, which is Daryl. I need to get in contact with him again. It's changed my life. I hope.
Oh, wow,
you like
dude. Yo, I appreciate this.
it. Yeah. It's a small book, so you can carry it back home to Philly.
And it is epic. It has the slightly yellow pages.
Yeah, my goal, literally,
Nice
one of
and
my
old.
goals is to turn that into like a movie, hopefully. Because I don't know why. I'm in love with this book, so I hope you.
This is great, dude.
Hope you like it, man. And
really
thank
excited to read
you
it.
again
Thank
for
you,
doing the
man.
show, man.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
Of course, thank you.